this, everyone? You're obviously confused and aroused. Then where are we now?
Do you have idiots on your planet?
It's me, Zoidberg, remember from high school?
Hello, you're listening to the Slurmcast, a podcast for no reason. Today we will be discussing Futurama Season 3, Episode 2, Parasites Lost, with your hosts, Tommy Roulette,
What's up?
Pete Woodward,
That's me.
and I'm Rick Horchie. Joining us today is our special guest, George Dunne. How's it going, George?
Good. How are you?
Good. Thanks for being on the show. Sorry, I was late. I'm glad you found your
I'm so mad.
way
at
in.
you.
Yeah,
You should be.
I might
Everybody,
I might just leave now.
if you had to put up with this every week like they do, then that's fine. That's all the time we have. Thank you. Sorry,
You told him
George.
a street in Ohio.
And he still found it. That's pretty resourceful.
That's how I remember to get
We
here.
just met tonight, but your reputation as a makeout champion precedes you.
I am a wonderful makeout champion.
That's
4
according to
years running.
Facebook.
Before we get into the show, a couple of things. One, weird, like serendipitous thing. So like we ended up communicating, through Facebook or whatever, and you were like, oh yeah, you have a podcast I do, Futurama, and it was like several weeks ago or whatever, and then Thursday, I stopped up at Mayhall's with Sean Burns, former guest Sean Burns, and you were sitting next to me. Well, on the
Excuse
corner of the
me.
bar.
It's Sean, former guest Burns.
What did I say? Oh, but yeah, full title.
Sean,
in the
not
middle.
that Burns. No, not that Burns either. Burns.
Talking heads.
So I was sitting there, and like at some point, you were talking to your friends about something, and it sounded like you were mentioning something about your podcast.
Yeah. Well, I was sitting with my girlfriend and her roommate, and
Okay.
her roommate's going to be on the episode we're recording tomorrow. And we were just going over what we're going to be watching, because she doesn't like the Fast and Furious movies, and I am a huge fan.
Of all of them.
Get out.
Or just
all
the-
but two.
No,
I can't
get out.
defend two. Yeah, I
Leave.
can't defend two, but I'm showing her probably the most reviled, which I really love, Tokyo Drift, which is the third one.
Would you say, not just for you, but do you think that one's maybe like a fan favorite?
It's the Halloween 3 of the franchise, in that not everybody loves it, and I totally understand
Yeah, yeah.
why, but I kind of love it.
Okay.
Isn't it
It
treated
It also
as
doesn't
non-canon?
feature. It doesn't feature Michael Myers at all.
There's no Michael Myers, there's no Vin Diesel.
I thought they put that mask on one of the cars, though, didn't they?
There's some reference in.
I mean,
Halloween
I
3 of-
just.
I think they're watching
yeah.
it on TV, like
There's
Halloween
a
2 or
neon
something
green
like
car
that.
in it.
Yeah,
I just wait for the AV Club to give it a bad and then increasingly better review.
that is a perfect lesson of copyright your stuff.
What?
Halloween 3 was made because they never copyrighted the whole Halloween
Well, no,
franchise.
John Carpenter produced the third one.
But-
he wanted to make an anthology series of the movies. He never intended to make Halloween 2, but Michael Myers was so
Yeah.
successful.
Yeah.
Yeah. That they made, and he co-wrote Halloween 2 because of studio pressure. And then he's like, well, let's just do an anthology thing. And it just kind of failed. And then they went back to 4.
I like my fantasy where John Carpenter has no idea that Halloween 3 exists.
He was off somewhere making bleep bloop music.
And he made Halloween 4 and called it Halloween 3, and they're like, no.
It
there
wouldn't
was one
surprise
like
me. He
that.
seems like that guy who's like really smart, but somehow senile, like kind of like the professor,
Yeah.
where he's just like,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
it's like, oh, they made 4 Halloween movies? Actually, John, we made 7.
What's that you say?
So we were sitting there, and I'm sitting there with my friend Sean. and
Oh,
I'm like-
that's what you were telling a story.
yeah. This whole podcast will just be this story, and then we're done. But it'll take me an hour and a half. So I was sitting there, and I'm like, I think I was looking. I'm like, I actually creepily looked your Facebook profile up or whatever, and I'm like,
Fucking creep.
like looking at you, and Sean's looking at my phone, like, what are you? And I'm like, hey, So we ended up, talking or whatever, and then Tom and other former guests, Kristen Burns, Sean's wife, came in.
That's not Sean Burns. No, not that Burns. The other Burns.
Excellent.
Sean, not that Burns, no, the other Burns.
Yeah.
So
But Kristen is Kristen, not that Burns, not the other Burns.
yes. So, anyways, I had a chance this weekend to listen to the second episode of your podcast. The third one's out now. By the time this comes out, I'm sure it'll be, several more out. It's called Second Shot, right?
Mhm.
Just as we'll like, promote it or talk about it more and plug it at the end. But for the listeners to give them an idea of why some of them might be interested in. There was at one point one of my favorite moments was when you referred to an old hairstyle you had and said you looked like David Tennant, and then within 60 seconds talked about another haircut and said you looked like Christopher Eccleston. And I thought about saying that before I showed up, and then you came in a Doctor Who shirt, which is awesome.
Yeah,
And,
I'm trying to get my girlfriend into Doctor Who right now.
How's that going?
Are you trying to get her to
She-
leave you?
I've tried. She's clinging on for dear life. She likes it. She watched the newest Christmas special for the first, like that was the first episode. The Doctor Mysterio. She loves Peter Capaldi.
Really?
Yeah.
Is
I'd
that
show
how you're
her-
introducing to her as with Peter Capaldi? With Peter Capaldi,
It was just
Capaldi.
Well, it wasn't intentional.
Has she seen the episode where David Tennant, or is it David Tennant comes out on the motorcycle out
Yeah,
of the,
that's the 50s one where they go
TARDIS?
back to the 50s and
Oh,
he has
right.
the Elvis hairstyle.
We showed our roommate. That was the first episode he watched,
And he was
and he
like,
walked out of the room.
You know what? Hang on. Is
yeah.
David Tennant the one that Jessica Jones killed?
Yes.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I tried
Purple
to
Man.
get my
Yeah.
ex to watch it, and I showed her the first Amy Pond episode, the first Matt Smith episode,
Mhm.
and I think it was one of those where she liked it, but not enough to like keep watching it.
Yeah.
You know, with that show, there's so many different aspects to it. It's one of those things where it's like, do I want to start with the first of the reboot of the first Chris Boston, or do I want to find something? Is that what did you choose that Christmas one for a specific
I didn't
reason?
choose it. It was kind of because I watched it on Christmas because
Mhm.
it's just become my thing now. You know, I have a terrible family experience and I watch Doctor Who. But you know, it just happened that she was, you know, she didn't have any family stuff to do, so she just came over. I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna watch Doctor Who, and I just told her a basic outline of what it was. She watched it and she's like, I really like this. I'm like, yeah, I don't even fully understand what's happening, but I like it too.
Pete, I do not want to talk about the cartoon in this episode. The beginning, like little
At all?
Jumbotron thing. No, because we knew it's called Aladdin and the Wonderful Lamp, and it's from 1934. I don't understand it. I didn't look it up.
It
I
looks
didn't
like a
even
guy
notice
was heating up like a still or something, which is even more perplexing because if it was Aladdin, theoretically he wouldn't be a fan of the booze.
I mean, when I looked it up, it even gave the like artist or whatever's name before it. It's Works. I don't know. So we're not
It
going
was,
to talk
like,
about it.
For the cartoons, there's usually some action shot or a guy bobbing up
Yeah.
and down.
Yeah.
That one just seemed boring. I didn't even
Oh,
remember. Like, I don't even
More
remember.
boring than usual. Usually there's at least something like a weird looking character or something in that 1.5 seconds. That one was definitely.
But what was interesting that we should make note of is that Tom completely flipped our little thing on its head by saying he doesn't want to talk about it and then answering all the same information
Mhm.
he would answer anyway.
Yep.
I've been thinking
there's a
about doing
clever ruse.
like a what do you call a like a silent protest where when you start talking about it, Tom, we just let him
Silence.
go.
It's called silence.
But I want to do it with a stern look at my face so it looks like a protest.
My
Just-
Still
my note
silence.
was, what the hell is
you
the
can hear my
Popeye-
eyebrows. They're Peter Capaldi level.
My
of
my
volume.
note was, what the hell is the Popeye looking guy doing with the sprayer? And
Yeah.
then it auto corrected to Popeyes because it knew I had fried chicken on the brain.
Yeah, it took me like a minute and a half to start writing notes. I'm like, oh, I should probably do that.
Especially with this show, 9 out of 10 times the episode starts with joke, and it's like
Yeah.
I just missed like so much.
saw
It's usually
the-
not
Yeah, I
plot
end up pausing
important,
a bunch.
but
Saw the square root of Route 66
yeah,
or
that was-
whatever. I'm like, oh
Which-
yeah, there's gonna be a lot of this shit.
Yeah,
Forgot.
Route 66.
Square root
Yeah,
Route
yeah.
66. And
It's a good
the
joke.
first time I think seeing this is I got the root of the root,
Yeah.
like that actual level of joke.
Did you translate the alien writing on the one truck?
I did. I can't remember what they were. Forgot to make notes of them.
I had to stop it and look at it 3 times, but there was the truck with all the chickens, but the chickens all had space globes on their heads so they could breathe, but you could still hear them clucking. I call shenanigans.
My first note was about when they landed, and there was regular matter, dark matter, and what's a matter.
Yeah, that was good.
Oh, I missed that. That was
there's
great.
so
Yeah.
much, the show.
I had to pause that.
There's
for
so
that.
many gags that are, the sign gags or whatever, and a lot of times they don't give you time as an audience. Like
Mhm.
they're really there as not an Easter egg, but something later
Mhm.
watching it at home or whatever that you might if you get a chance.
Well, I think I was busy writing down who the writer was
Uh-huh.
because I'm like, I'm gonna look up this guy later. Because Eric
Who was it?
Eric
Oh,
Kaplan.
okay, yeah.
But not
And I'm
that
like-
Eric Kaplan.
Not
Is
our.
there a different Eric Kaplan?
Well, we had an Eric Kaplan that was a guest on the
Oh, okay.
show, but it's not that Eric Kaplan.
Okay, because
And then when I tweeted Eric Kaplan from Futurama, he asked if it was another Eric Kaplan. It wasn't.
Because there's
that
another
guy either.
Neither.
writer, Hollywood writer guy named Eric Kaplan.
bet
too.
our-
Eric
I bet
Linus,
our-
Captain.
Eric Kaplan could probably beat up both of them. He wouldn't because he's a nice guy, but I bet he could.
like I was looking up Eric Kaplan because I'm like that name sounds really familiar, and as a big Simpsons guy,
Yeah,
I feel
yeah.
like he's written Simpsons. He's only written one episode, and it
Oh.
was like season 24.
He's all over Futurama. Like,
yeah, well, he's written some of the best. He's written.
Mhm.
I just caught Bill Odenkirk was a producer on this one though, so the
Oh, really?
the cross pollination has started.
There were no thumbs though.
I know.
I wish there were more thumb wars.
This
and
won an
thumb
Emmy.
fathers. Did it?
You could
Yeah.
kind of look at the worms as little thumbs or something.
That's true.
Did now they were at Greasy Sue's Greasy Truck Stop, which number one, when you're out in the middle of nowhere and you come across one of those killer truck stops, it's like the best thing ever.
Oh, I enjoy it as a having traveled a lot, taken a lot of across the country.
Well, you
yeah,
moved
a
your
lot
ex girlfriend across the country like 3 times in the course of 2 months.
Mhm.
It's
So
the best
I
when the
get it.
truck stop showers don't have just clear glass in between them. And
Wait,
there's
you
actually,
showered
like-
at a truck stop?
well, sometimes you have to.
Yeah.
I'll
I've
just
never-
stay dirty. I'll wait till you know what
Well,
I mean.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what
there's,
hotels are for.
I'm not even convinced that this place is real. I think it
I
might
wear
have
shower
been
shoes.
some kind of magical mirage.
Just
But
tampons.
once when I was out, this is back like 15 years ago, I was traveling with one of my bands on probably an ill-fated tour, and we were in the middle of like New
Humble brag.
Mexico. No, I mean it's not. I'm setting the
Humble
stage.
brag, yeah.
Setting the stage. We were in a van full of people, full of
Sounds
gear,
pretty cool.
in the middle of New Mexico in the middle of the night. There's like no lights anywhere. It's just fucking wasteland. And it's like 3 a.m.
And let's say
And-
this guy Landon farted into a coffee can.
No. So we have to stop for
Landon
gas.
fart.
And me and Steve, who's the bass player, we found this place. There's a truck stop called Senor D's. And they had a Mexican restaurant. And at like 3 a.m, he and I went in and had
A
like
24 hour?
24-hour Mexican restaurant. None of the other guys even woke up. Steve and I went in, had an entire delicious Mexican meal, got gas, got back in the car, and drove off. I've never been able to confirm that this place even exists.
I thought
Like,
you were
we
gonna
have
make
no-
like a Senior
no-
D's joke. like,
No,
Senor D's
Senor D's
nuts.
is one of my fondest memories because we just like this. We're eating Mexican food at 3 a.m. in the middle of fucking nowhere. Is this place real? I don't think it is. And so actually, if
They had to
If-
walk up to the hostess and say, Large Marge sent them.
if anybody in New Mexico can confirm that Senor D's is a real place,
Or
that
if you've
would be
seen my
fantastic.
bike,
Yes.
please let me
It
know.
might be in the basement of the Alamo.
Oh my God, look at the lines light up right now.
So this is another thing I was wondering about. I thought that dark matter that fueled the Planet Express spaceship was specific to the Planet Express spaceship because the professor invented the dark matter drive and it was the only starship that had a
Well,
dark
the
matter
guy
So the
that
pat-
invented the combustible engine isn't just using that and then no one else ever found
Yeah,
out
so
about
the
it.
No,
patent of it.
he sold the patent.
Is
I
that-
thought you were going to ask, I thought it was because Nibbler only pooped it out.
But apparently he's still always broke that he has to run a delivery company.
Right.
And it seems like the main
It's the
focus
only
of it. Yeah.
the only fuel. in
Maybe
the
it's a money
universe.
laundering
I think-
operation.
The professor is an amazing scientist, a terrible business person.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I feel like it's all bad investments.
He's
And Hermes does not help him whatsoever.
He's just focused on his manwitches.
Bender
He's
blowing
a
himself
man-why.
up. Was that yay or nay?
I
thought
liked
was-
it.
I
You
thought
know,
it was kind of
I thought
weak.
Bender was really George. I'm not a big Bender fan,
Mhm.
but as we're watching this and going through them and dissecting them, I'm starting to realize that I've always kind of, even though like I did watch it while I was there and was a kid, but like kind of in and out of it.
Mhm.
More familiar with it, like with the DVDs and the, just being in syndication. That I look at the whole series as just like one, jumbled mess. Not in chronological
That's
order.
how I see it too.
Yeah, and I'm starting to see Bender as like, oh, he was kind of, and a bad example, I'm sure there's a better one, but kind of Stewie in a way where he was like this, or like Eric
Chaotic
Cartman or
neutral?
whatever. He was this this one note character who, they tried to make funny with the this stupid like shitty lines he had or whatever.
Mhm.
And I think I like him more as he goes on. Like I liked Bender in this.
I
episode.
really like Bender in this episode. I understand what you're saying.
Like,
and
hey, I'm a jerk at first, and then it turns into
yeah. Sometimes he crosses the line towards like just completely unlikable.
Yeah.
And he seems more like a joke machine.
Yeah.
Rather than an actual character at
Yeah.
times. But he really, I mean, as a joke machine in this episode.
Yeah,
he
just
fucking nailed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like there was a lot of slapstick stuff, like him drinking the ethanol and then lighting the cigar
Yeah.
and then blowing
It was
up.
the
It's like,
ethanol and tonic.
oh, yes,
that's right, yeah.
Sorry. When Rick messaged me to do this episode, I'm like, I didn't remember this episode very fondly. I was like, oh, this episode, like, it grossed me out. I think that was a big thing.
Oh,
And I forgot the holophoner stuff because the holophoner stuff is great.
Does that come back later?
Yes,
I will-
I mixed them up.
I will
so
agree to disagree with you about the holophoner, and we'll
works
get to that.
It works better with the
but
Devil's Hands episode.
I will.
But
Tom will punch you.
I forgot this episode has one of my favorite jokes, which is it's like a party in my mouth, but everybody's throwing up.
oh yeah, one of my favorite fry lines.
which is
Which-
so fucking funny.
Yeah.
Reference Simpsons
It's
to
like a
does
party in my
Flaming
mouth,
Moe's.
and everyone's invited.
Does it?
Daryl
Did-
Strawberry.
Yeah.
No, Flaming Moe's.
I know, but
Moe's.
did that line come from The Simpsons?
Yeah.
I mean, no, I don't think that specific line.
Like, it's a party in my mouth, and everyone's invited was said by Daryl Strawberry
Well, yeah, but I don't
on The
think
Simpsons, and I think that's the genesis of that line. And this is
No way.
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
seems-
no, I think.
I mean,
I
that
think
is,
Pete-
30
I think
years ago.
we're
But
drawing
still.
a battle
Where's
line.
the balloons and the clown that we can pull out of the ceiling? That Pete's right.
What's
I
the
think
weirdest
Pete's
thing
right.
you've ever found for sale in a gas station bathroom?
in a bathroom.
Yeah, like
It's
in,
usually
like
just
in the
sour
vending
drops
machines
or something like.
A lonely guy's mouth? Like, what do you mean? How often does
so,
that come up?
okay, so
I
the-
found quotations not poked through condoms.
is so
I'm
This
always
is- this
poking
is-
through them.
this is
Tell
what I'm-
that to my 12
I'm always using
children.
them to poke through.
this is what I'm getting at. There was the Aldebaran ticklers, the breakable comb,
I like
and
the
the
breakable comb.
fresh egg salad sandwich. Now,
I feel like it's
is-
50 cents less than the breakable comb.
Yeah.
is Aldebaran
That was the cheapest thing out of the three.
Is Aldebaran a Star Wars reference? What's
It
that?
sounds like
no.
Alderaan, but I
Yeah.
didn't look it up. I don't know what.
Okay,
what it-
that's what I'm thinking of. So, at another truck stop gas station, probably around the same time frame as the Senior D's experience. This was going in the opposite direction. This was in the middle of Pennsylvania. Shortly after
Ooh, exotic.
Gulf War #2 started, I guess the one that's still going on began. This was during the
ham sandwiches.
well, no,
Do you remember
no,
what
no,
you
no,
were
no,
wearing?
no.
Like,
No, they in the garbage can vending machine, they had freedom ticklers.
The fuck is that?
It's a French tickler, but freedom instead of
oh,
French.
Really?
I'm not. it sounds like the
And you
dumbest
didn't
hack
buy
joke.
7 of them?
You know, they weren't going to get used.
Like they're collector's items.
You would think at this point, but like
I still have my freedom
it
fries.
seared itself into my memory because it's just like that. That is the dumbest hack joke, but it's also just like fucking micro focused on their target demographic. Like
Yeah.
somebody who's gonna order freedom fries instead of French fries is 100% gonna get a freedom tickler out of a gas station bathroom. In
I
the
would
middle
get
of
a freedom
Pennsylvania.
tickler. I have no use for freedom or a tickler, but I will use a freedom tickler.
Hey, I'm not embarrassed to ask this. What's a French tickler?
As I understand it, and we could probably figure it out on our pocket.
Just whatever
computers.
you think.
You know
it's
when
a,
a
it's a
clown
condom with like things at the end
Little
to
like
increase your pleasure.
when a clown or a mime blows their nose with a handkerchief and it blows out,
We're just doing
And if
free
you're-
association.
bent over behind it, and you get a tickle on your butt. That's a French tickler.
I just thought it was a cock ring.
I had no like.
It's
I
when
should
you-
know this.
It's when you get to the top of the Eiffel Tower
This is
and
like
you
my
just have that
brand.
feeling.
I
So,
feel like it's one of those phrases that I've heard a
apparently-
million times my whole life, and I never had any.
It's a
never thought about it.
song by Andrew Jackson Jihad, but there is actually a bunch of Google images
That
on
sounds
here.
about
That-
right for Andrew Jackson Jihad.
Doesn't sound like the best.
I'm
There's
happy for
several-
him that
there-
it's the first thing that comes up for him.
There
Or
are
like when
several
you-
different. Ooh, that's weird. Several different versions of it too. This one is a French freedom tickler.
Well-
so I guess it must have backfired at some
Wait,
point.
did you type in freedom tickler?
Yes.
Why would you type in French tickler?
First
No,
of all,
look. It's a French freedom tickler. So at some point, they're either trying to like
Statue of
bridge
Liberty on it too.
the divide.
don't.
Or they're just trying to let people know that, so they're not like, I don't know what that is. That the idiots that wouldn't figure that out, they're like, oh, we have to throw French in there. They're not
Yeah.
going to know what it is.
Yeah,
like,
so maybe they
they
know their
understand
market too
who's
well.
buying-
I mean,
yeah.
I wouldn't understand it. He said it and I didn't understand it.
yeah, no, when he said that, I didn't go from
We don't
point A
even
to
know
point
what a
C.
French
I
tickler
needed that
is.
middle. Yeah, exactly. I couldn't get from A to C without somebody.
It's
Yeah,
hard
and
to.
then that too. I forgot about that phrase, that term. You know,
No
like,
one cares about that at all, Pete.
That's
so
not terrifying at all, is it?
No, it's terrifying that right now you're just
I'm into
showing us
it.
pictures
They
of
look
things
like
that nobody
Daleks.
listening can see.
Pete wants to get busy and then freaky in that
They look
order.
like condom Daleks.
So they're at the truck stop and they're like set up that that what did you the convoy song? Is
We
anybody
got a
familiar with
great
that?
big convoy.
Like,
It's
yeah,
like a 70. That was actually used
That
in
was
The
on The
Simpsons at
Simpsons,
some
yeah.
point too, but it was like a
Yeah, that's
70s.
it was from the
right.
Mr. Microphone thing.
Okay, all right.
Because Homer's yelling it or screaming it and he's singing too loud.
Ah,
and
I
it's
totally
got,
forgot about
backbeat.
that.
I
I think.
didn't care about that part.
Well, I mean, it was,
At
a,
all.
it was
Yeah,
a
the
big
It's
song,
a hit
you know,
song from the days of CB
yeah.
radio.
I mean,
We all know that CB radio
Yeah.
days.
I mean
That's what
that's
Trump's trying to
it
get
was
back
it
to.
was a neat reference to something from before our time, like that word, but
Yeah, it almost seemed like it was.
We
maybe in
literally
reference
just
slightly.
went backwards in the episode.
because we skipped over.
well, we talked.
we were
Pete,
talking
Pete
about.
showed us pictures that the
Is
listeners
this-
can't see for an
Is
hour.
this the
so-
first appearance of the trucker guy?
No,
Sal?
No,
No.
he's
Sal,
he's
is that
been
his
in the
name?
last few.
This
Okay.
is, I feel like, this is my favorite appearance.
Yes,
of his.
yeah,
Like,
this
this
is-
is
he's
when
got
I
good
think
lines.
of him.
Uses.
I think of this episode. all his lines.
My girlfriend just ughed when she saw him.
Like before he spoke, or like
When
as
he
his
was
character.
speaking.
Okay, yeah.
Which, yeah, you're supposed to.
I
but,
mean,
like,
yeah, exactly. That's the reaction that they're trying to elicit.
I was wondering how Sal gets around so much because he's everywhere. He's
Yeah,
a
he
Oh, I
was
thought,
always-
I thought you meant sexually.
He's a working man.
Yeah, but
Was
also
but okay, theory. Sal is actually like a series of clones.
maybe
Probably.
think?
It
Could
wouldn't
be.
surprise me. He's
you know
everywhere.
what? It might be.
Yeah.
Interesting.
the
Are there
clone
clones?
Teamster guy. They
Probably.
bring up
I don't
clones. They
remember.
say there's not like a.
Well, there's
Hubert,
Hubert, yeah,
is
you're
a
right.
clone.
Oh,
Yes, so there's
right.
clones.
But it seems like that's pretty rare.
No, I mean,
The Professor's was just DIY. It wasn't like a
Okay.
factory farmed clone.
Okay, it's been a while since I've been gone through the series.
You
I
think
haven't-
if you were gonna clone somebody to do a bunch of manual labor, you might make them in better shape than Sal.
or they all
You know what's
they all
sad
started like the
is-
Rock,
and then they
and they just slowly
collapse.
degrade.
or the original Sal was like the best employee that they had for like manual labor, and they were just like, "Damn it!" and they just had to clone that.
Did you, George? Did you notice the sign when Fry was peeing before he bought the sandwich that said
Employees must wash hands on pants
em-
or wipe
employees-
hands on
yeah,
pants.
yeah, that was another one of those quick that one they gave you a little bit longer to, but I mean it's a
Yeah, so
Have
I
you-
was gonna write that down, but I'm like, I'll remember that one.
but
Have,
that's one of those too where it's like at the beginning of the episode there's so much of that it's like I don't have time to pause this because
Yeah.
you'd be writing every other
Yeah, I was like, I would have paused it, but my girlfriend was sitting there, and she was already like, she doesn't care.
Yeah.
Like,
one of those things like on our mud flaps. That was a
Yosemite Sam.
Yosemite
Yeah.
Sam.
I have a lot of stories about gas stations on this episode.
We don't
but-
need to.
Oh man,
we don't need to talk
Are
about
you ever
them.
have
If
you
the-
ever
if
eaten
the
an
other-
egg
if
salad
they're as
sandwich from
riveting
a,
as the first two, like I just please share as many of them
Have
as
you ever
can.
eaten an egg salad sandwich from a gas station?
No.
I've never eaten
eaten
an egg
a
salad.
prepared sandwich from a gas station, let alone an egg salad
Speedy's
sandwich.
Grub
period.
Shack.
Amateurs.
Speedy's Grub Shack.
I-
It's fucking
Oh,
delicious.
God, delicious.
I
Uber
lived
Eats, man.
on gas station
They would
egg
be an
salad
awesome
sandwiches
sponsor.
for about a week until something
That's
so
why we're friends.
so horrible happened that like just the reaction that my body eventually had when
Mhm.
I reached critical gas station egg salad mass
Mhm.
was nothing that terrible has ever come out of my body before or since.
I've never had egg salad.
going to-
so
You'd-
Really?
No.
Is
Are you
that
kidding?
intentional or just has never come up?
It's
to you,
probably
like-
intentional because there's a lot of mayonnaise in it, right?
Yeah.
I don't like mayonnaise.
Ah,
that-
okay.
Mm.
I love egg salad. It's one of the only things I make because I really don't make food or buy.
It's not
I,
all.
Yeah,
I,
it's
I just
Tomatoes.
picture you with a bowl of egg salad just sitting down.
Oh
and
yeah,
watching-
dude. I
No,
seriously
the,
like.
the move now is to get like one of those flavored Triscuits, like the dill or the black
Uh-huh.
pepper and sea salt, or
and put
and
the
black
egg
pepper
salad
and
on
sea
that.
and
salad.
just
good.
just use those to scoop it out of your egg salad bowl.
I like that. I like
Yeah.
I like where your head's at.
Why need a fork when you
You
have
don't need a
box of
fork.
Triscuits?
You've got
can't
you've
eat the
got
fork,
a
so
handful
yeah,
of,
absolutely.
to paraphrase one of the lovely and delightful and unfortunately deceased Mitch Hedberg's
Mhm.
jokes. If you got a Ritz, it's like a little edible plate. You
Oh,
do
yeah.
the same thing with Triscuits. You just scoop it right up, and there you go.
I've
R.I.P.
eaten.
Paul Walker.
Oh,
I've eaten a lot of gas station
I
food.
have like a
Have-
half
have-
dozen hard-boiled eggs in the fridge. Do you want me to make a bowl of egg salad while we're sitting here? I don't know. Maybe after the show.
And do you want to sit with the house with egg smell for the rest
Oh
of the podcast?
no, they're already. You wouldn't even smell it. They're refrigerated and hard-boiled. It's a nice thing to have around in your house. Hard-boiled.
Speaking of
eggs.
crackers, hey, what's that black? What's that black cracker?
Oh, I thought you were
Crunch,
going.
not
I thought you were
tomato.
going.
Where did you think I was
I
going?
thought you
somewhere
were going to a
else with that,
totally
George?
different place. I'm like, stop looking outside.
Was it one Tom was walking in? I'm like, who's that black cracker?
Ben Carson.
Real political tonight. I've listened to like 3 episodes. You guys haven't mentioned any politics.
Oh, you're not caught up.
We
man.
mention a lot of politics.
Okay.
Most of it gets cut
Cut
out.
Yeah, I mean, okay. So I'm gonna go to my notes real quick because
Yeah.
there's a bunch.
Yeah, anything you got on there that-
Amateur. Go into your notes.
Is this
What do
the
you mean,
first
'cause we all
Scruffy
are?
appearance?
I know.
No, Scruffy's been in it
Or
at
is that
least
was
two
that a
other times.
running joke where it's like, who are you? It was Scruffy.
I
the
think
janitor.
that's the running joke.
Okay.
No,
now.
I think that's like one of the first times that
Or was it a
maybe
joke
he
that they
hasn't
just didn't
like
know him?
actually been.
He was in
Introduced
Anthology of
in
Anthology
Interest.
interest.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And it was just,
But-
who are you, Scruffy? I've never seen you before. I ain't never seen you
But
either.
none of that happened.
So the joke is either that it's a running
Yeah.
joke or they just never noticed him.
No, they just do it again.
I
Yeah,
feel
I
like
think
they
they
do
do
it
it
again
over and
after
over.
this too. I mean, eventually he is just Scruffy, but I feel like
Yeah.
it happens a couple more times.
But
Have you
Scruff's
ever-
gonna die.
Have you
like
ever
he
complimented
lived.
your girlfriend by saying she has more meat than a cow?
I say my girlfriend has 0 G jugs.
Nice.
Nice. I mean, what is this? The We're 12 podcast? Anyways,
No,
Um,
because if we're 12, there's probably a crime going on with 0 G jugs.
That's
oh,
There's a crime happening.
it's I mean, I know the space program has more important things to do, but I'm sort of intrigued by the whole concept at this
I
point.
would pay so much money for weightless boobs just to watch like a red camera in super slow motion just poke one.
Apparently, the original animation for the Zero Jugs cover on that was a little bit more racy.
Really?
Mhm.
How so?
I don't know. It was
they had
just
to
a little
change
bit
it.
like
They
they had
got
to
to know
change
to
it.
change it.
Nips.
There's a nipple floating around somewhere.
I'll die as
Separate
I
from the
live.
boob.
That whole thing, like Scruffy, is just
he licks
He's-
his finger.
yeah.
And just
I had something else to do, or was it? I got a
Scheduling
conflict.
conflict of or
So I noticed something with this episode that I totally forgot that I love about the show, which is that owls are the rats.
Yeah. That's one of that's. It's so adorable.
They're
Like,
fucking adorable. I was debating getting an owl tattoo
I
because
think
of
I
that.
totally missed that. So where does that come up?
That'd
in
be a
this?
good
And then
Futurama
where was
tattoo,
it
for sure.
introduced?
Well, there's
earlier?
like the water, whatever they're trying to fix.
Like
in-
the
in-
boiler.
Yeah, there's an owl hanging there, and then when later in the episode when Leela and Fry are eating, someone drops food and a bunch of owls go and
Mhm.
See, I didn't
like,
even put that
it.
together.
they bring it up later.
It's
and
already happened a
and I
bunch
think,
of times.
I mean, yeah,
They're pigeons. They're rats.
yeah, there's like
they're
a
the vermin.
there's like a very specific joke where they reference it. They're like, yeah, they're
I
just,
think
They're,
yes,
they have a couple characters pose as owl exterminators later.
yes,
in
yeah.
one of the movies.
Oh wait, didn't
We're
no
all
wait didn't
exterminators.
moms
Oh, that already happened. didn't
sons
it?
do that?
Yeah, they already did that.
Okay, yeah. It's
For
all,
chronologically, where as far as
Mhm.
going in the order we're going in, yeah, that happened. with the Pamela Anderson episode. When
But
they,
it's
Yeah.
it's such a funny joke. Like just the idea of owls.
Wha-
They're so big.
Yeah.
And so loud and like intrusive
and
compared
they're
to rats.
they're these night hunters that live in the forest or the woods or whatever, and then to have them over 1,000 years they've evolved
in
into
the
just like
janitor's closet,
these
like-
city pests or whatever,
Yeah.
these urban pests.
Dropping pellets everywhere.
It's so funny to me, and they're so cute.
Is
Oh, it's the hypochondriac. Now what?
My lead pipe hurts.
but nobody
That's
seems
normal. Next
troubled by the
patient.
fact that like Fry. I mean, he seems otherwise unbothered by the fact that he's impaled on a big pipe.
It doesn't
after
seem
the
to hurt
boilers.
him,
No,
which
he's
is-
just like, yeah,
Have you ever been impaled a pipe like that?
It's literally right. through his
literally or
stomach.
figuratively, Tom.
I'm talking exactly like Fry did.
It's 2017.
Then exactly, you don't know how it feels.
Yeah,
Horchie does, and
I know this is unrelated, but
it tickles
it just
very
happened.
weird spots for a while.
Horchie
Saturday-
the Impaler.
I broke my toe on Saturday. I was sitting at home, hungover. I ordered a pizza, hungry.
For
I was
listeners at home, he means
Was egg
penis.
salad on it?
it was an egg salad and bacon pizza.
oh my!
I got so excited
No,
when the
hang on.
pizza guy knocked on the
hang on.
door.
An egg salad pizza with bacon bits on it.
I thought you were going to tell another road story. That would be good. I would eat that.
Yeah, I mean, you could just heat up like a flatbread and then spread the egg salad and crispy bacon bits on
I
it.
would fucking eat the shit out of that. Anyway, so
I'd flat
Um,
that bread.
so the pizza guy knocked on the door. I ran around my coffee table so fast and then slammed my pinky toe on a like one of those like a big chair that's kind of like a couch setup or whatever. Looked down, like fell to the ground, yelled, and looked down at my toe, and it was sticking out of my sock.
What he means
I-
to say is his father's ghost tripped him.
Is this like Hamlet?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's always doing Hamlet-y stuff too. So
Just breaking
warning
your
me not
toe.
to.
Instead of trying to kill
Pizza's
you.
gonna kill you, son.
If there's any pizza delivery people out there listening, this is what Horchie does every time when a pizza comes, so
Any
he
food
doesn't
that
have
comes
to
to the
leave
door.
a tip.
No,
He thinks it's
so-
like Uber.
I look down at it. I'm like, I just got to get this over as quickly as possible. I'm not gonna like tell this guy I just broke my toe, and I went up and answered. I'm like, "Hi, how are you?" Like with just like a grimacing smile, and he's like, "Good, hey." And
Hi,
he's
I'm a
like-
normal person.
he's like, "Thanks for the tip." I say nothing, sign it, and like close the door. And then sit down, and I look at my toe, and I look at the pizza, and I started eating the pizza. I'm like, so hungry.
It'll
I'm
set.
like, I'll worry about this later.
Your toe
When I
is
was
just, like,
done, then I wrapped it up.
throbbing.
But
Red like Rudolph's
well,
nose.
it was sticking out, and I'm like,
And he pulled the pepperoni down, and his toe just
But
sucked
when you
it
say
up.
it was sticking out, it was sticking out like this at a 90-degree angle from the
I
side
wrapped
of your
my foot
foot.
in a piece of pizza, and
If you're anything like me, you'd be like, I'll take care of that later, and then forget to take care of it for a few days.
the
Why,
pain
why
reminded
won't my
me.
foot fit in my shoe?
But yeah,
And that's how Horchie had his first colonoscopy.
Speaking of which, that was a really cool sequence when they went up Fry's.
Guess again.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
oh, that was such a good
That's a
Bender
great
line.
joke.
Or no, it was
Zoidberg.
Zoidberg. Fuck.
That's a
The,
good joke.
There,
Pete,
Billy
you're
West
getting
in
up
this
there.
episode-
I would really like a two-way mirror
to watch
to
colonoscopies
your
on.
I just want the
colonoscopy.
video
Mine?
screen.
Yes.
Why would you
Specifically
want?
yours.
Why would you want a two-way mirror? They record them on video.
It's true. Right on the ass.
Would you submit it to America's Funniest Home Videos?
Well, I had to edit in the kitten falling out of it first.
I normally just do some voice like, oh, look at me, I'm an ass.
it's
he's a witch.
yeah, it was one of those things that like, there's animation that's like head and shoulders above the rest of the animation in the episode, and that
Mhm.
was one of them.
Oh yeah,
But I liked Hermes had like a highlight.
yeah. That's
Yeah,
what I thought it
When
looked
he's
like
just,
too.
like,
I thought it was
grabbing the-
bocce
It's-
ball.
It's a there's a deleted scene in the episode where somebody's been eating all the silverware
Uh-huh.
and
Oh,
and
that's-
Hermes
okay.
is like, we have to use these now, and he has
So that
those.
explains why all the buildings in the worms
Oh,
things are
looked
made
like
of forks
knives
and,
and forks
and
and shit.
forks and knives.
I thought it was like a food-related
Oh.
thing.
yeah,
because
I
it's-
literally wrote that
Yeah.
down. I'm like,
Isn't
why
that
is
like
that?
That's like a major thing in that
That keeps
episode.
coming
That's
up,
a
but
good
they
joke.
cut it
Out, and yeah,
If you that's a good. I love the joke of Fry eating
Somebody's been
silverware.
eating the silverware, like, and you know what? Like his
But there's no
character,
spoons.
you could absolutely imagine that it was like him and Bender daring each other shit. And, like, you know what I mean? Like of course he ate the, you know.
yeah. So that's why he's scooping up the popcorn in that.
I think
Hey.
the only other TV show I've seen highlights mentioned on was like Miami Vice.
Mad Men.
Really?
Highlight. Is that the one where you like whip it? It's kind of like polo, where you kind of whip it real hard.
It's
You
kinda
have-
like
you have
lacrosse,
like a
but you have,
scoop
like,
on your
a-
hand and you wear matador pants. And then you throw a really hard ball at someone with your scooper and you
Okay.
catch it
That-
with your
this
It's
is
scooper.
like
this-
a real hard like marble ball, right? Not
Yeah.
marble, but like
But you have to be like the size of a jockey to play, I think.
This is how Pete joined the Senior D sponsored highlight team.
Yeah. There's you know, it somehow they always find me, even though I can't find them back. The packages come without a return address on them.
what
It's fucking creepy.
one of my one of the reasons this is one of my favorite episodes is like there's not really a B story. It's kind of like that there is sort of A and B story going on, and then they intersect
yeah,
each
the
other.
Fry and Leo one's a bit of a B story.
But it's part of the A story, and then later becomes, you know,
Yeah.
like they've done that a couple times. But it, you know, it makes it more cinematic because it just feels like there's this one thing going
Mhm.
on. And
it's very concise.
and I also like any Futurama episode where the whole cast is included and they go on some like crazy
Wacky
adventure, especially
adventure?
when it's like an homage to like a
Fantastic
classic sci-fi
Voyage,
thing.
yeah.
Well,
like,
yeah,
like
so
this being
that
Fantastic
never
Voyage.
came up. There's two, well, I guess 3 movies that they're all tying into this. There's Fantastic Voyage,
Mhm.
which is also sort of a precursor to Inner Space.
Yeah.
And then later on, there's that whole Flowers for Algernon thing going on.
Well, I was also
too.
going to say Robin Hood, because the sword fight is very much the 50s Robin Hood or 40s Robin Hood.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, like he's swinging around. I mean, the sword fight at the very end.
Oh, yeah.
you know what I mean? Where he's about to.
Where he's
But-
make it, yeah.
What
Kill
about Honey,
himself
I
or
Shrunk the Kids? Also, because they got tiny.
I didn't even think about.
They didn't
the,
get tiny though, Tom.
no,
they
they
were
didn't.
miniature
Robots.
droids.
I didn't even think about. Well, in Fantastic Voyage, they did get tiny. I didn't even think about the Flowers for Algernon thing. Like that's
I don't know Flowers for Algernon.
it's a book, and they made a really shitty.
I think the movie
early
was called
70s,
like
late
Charlie,
60s.
wasn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Ernest Borgnine. Basically, a developmentally disabled gentleman is the subject of an experiment that rapidly increases his intellect, and he becomes like this
Okay,
super
okay.
charming, wonderful guy. And it turns out that like whatever the medicine is has like a terminal effect, and he
Okay.
just like he ends up dying just as dumb as he was before.
No,
I didn't mean to laugh when you said a mentally challenged person.
Mm-hmm.
I heard Ernest Borgnine, and I immediately thought of him on
yeah,
The
I was
Simpsons.
like doing like a radio. Oh, I
Well,
thought you were picturing
when-
Ernest Borgnine like
in
playing
Boy Scouts in the Hood, where he
I
comes out.
might be totally wrong. Like I'm just like throwing Ernest Borgnine.
All
out
I know
there.
is that Flowers of Algernon is a lot like Of Mice and Men without any happy parts.
That wasn't the end of the.
There's no
That
rats. Well,
sounds
there's mice and rats. I think
That
but there's
sounds
no
like my
rabbits.
kind of movie.
That wasn't the end of the book. It was more tragic than that. He had to stop taking it, and
He
it was
became a
just that-
supervillain.
But he had to. It was kind of like what Fry went through, where he had to watch himself slowly slide back into where his IQ
Well,
was
that's where-
before.
The end of this episode kind of made me not like Leela. She was kind of a
There, w-
jerk.
you know what?
Like-
I want to get to this later.
yeah,
Yeah,
no,
I don't
that's-
want
think
to
it's
jump
a
too
good
far
talking
ahead,
point.
but
But yeah, no, definitely. If in case we forget, bring that up
Yeah.
again when we get to that point, because I see that too.
when the professor is got them all in their little tiny.
Tom, stop eating that
shells.
egg salad sandwich while you're trying to talk.
Okay. Ernest Borgnine apparently had nothing to do with Charlie.
Nope.
just watch
but-
Laser
but-
Mission.
But Dick Van Patten was in it. So
Ooh,
there you go.
DVP.
No, Zoidberg's line when they're all like
So many good Zoidberg lines in this.
sitting
Let's just
and
episode
talking
full of
about
good lines.
Bad cholesterol,
what
but spreads like good cholesterol.
No, even way before that, when Zoidberg's like, "There's no part of that
That
sentence
sentence
I
I
didn't
didn't
like."
like.
Oh, when
when they're gonna go through like the bowels.
His worm
and-
infested. Well, did
we can't tell Fry. The worms know everything he knows. He knows how to make ice cream soup, which is I don't know why I love that line. It just reminds
and
me
the
of like
professor's just like, no, stupid. So they were burying the lead. This egg salad sandwich was made out of worm eggs.
Mhm.
Have you ever eaten any sort of insect?
Well, that was the
on
joke.
purpose?
It's
No.
that it was the mislead of the
But
mayonnaise was bad.
but
and
have
then-
you? I mean, we're gonna have to eat worm eggs as protein sources probably within the next 3 to 6 months when everything fucking becomes a conflagration. So,
That's the only thing I'm looking forward to.
have you eaten insects or the like before?
Never.
Would you?
I've never knowingly eaten anything.
Not like in a walking cricket taco.
But to be honest, I mean, if you eat consume anything with red dye number whatever, it's crushed beetles.
Beetle carapace, yes.
If you eat guano, it's bad poop.
Where are you going to find guano? though?
I don't know. In
Gas
Jasta?
station excel.
You have to seek out guano. If you seek
Isn't,
out guano,
is it
you know
in
what guano
Jasta?
is.
In Jasta? Was that
No,
an
that's
ingredient?
guarina. No.
Oh, Garina or whatever.
Justin Guarini?
No, is that what it's called?
I love from Justin to Kelly.
is that going to be a topic on?
Obviously.
I've never seen it.
I haven't either.
Oh,
I just-
I would. Hey, you know what? I mean, like that's
You
the
can
whole
only
point of
watch it once.
Your
because
show
it'll
is
poke
like
your eye
everybody's
out.
got their
it's
things
like
that
the
they, you
it's like
know.
the Ring. You watch it and it just 6 days later you
Consumes you.
die.
No, you know what's weird? No, I don't know anyone that's seen that movie.
What? I don't think Kelly Clarkson's even seen her. That's why her career's still.
She. Have you seen her in a while?
No,
What
I don't
happened?
pay attention.
Maybe she watched it and then
To
they
be
came for her.
honest, though, I would probably eat that egg salad sandwich with what it's done to fry.
Yeah.
Why? Because you'd rather
Yeah,
have
that
the worms.
seems like he gets a real good deal out of
He
that.
got a
like,
pipe through his stomach, and then they cut it out and then healed everything.
Then he
became
exercised his muscles.
Super powered and super intelligent.
I
Yeah,
think that's what I
he's
like
gonna be
about-
smarter than Cher. I mean,
I like that.
That was just
doubled
at
his
that
IQ.
point. Like,
I don't know if I necessarily understood that joke other than it was a non sequitur. Was
I
there a
did,
reason
yeah,
for
I
that?
didn't know if it was just like, hey, let's make fun of, I don't know, Cher. She's like a,
it was a
Kinda dumb
long day at
celebrity
the
or whatever.
That was
writing
what, like
office.
2002 or something.
Yeah,
such?
yeah.
I mean, she was kind of big still.
yeah, she was. That
Well,
was during her
I don't
comeback.
think-
I think
2001.
the Do You Believe in Love stuff or whatever.
Look, I think if Cher announced a world tour like right now, she'd be as big as ever.
Yeah,
I
no,
mean, it
she's-
might have been a personal thing where like there was a writer who's like, fucking hate Cher.
Or there
she
could,
said this
I mean, she
stupid
could
thing
have
in an
just
interview one
mouthed
time,
off
or
about something. You know, that could be a topical joke from 15 years ago.
Maybe it
that-
was when she was hating on her gay daughter. I don't know. Maybe.
Or, you know, her and Richie Sambora
was
were
a-
slugging
you
that
know,
it out.
that just reminded me of the
Did you just
Simpsons.
Did you just badmouth Cher? Did you
Not
just
on this
badmouth Cher on this podcast, Torchy?
We got let's
Did
go
you say
check-
bodmouth on this podcast?
Did you just badmouth Cher on this podcast?
Oh no, the flowers for Algernon drugs are wearing off on
Oh,
Tom.
no, Tom's here from Sweden to do disasters.
Just reminded
to
me
us.
of the Sharecrow. From,
Did you see that face?
you aware your daughter's gay?
The back and forth between like the virtual reality droid control, like that was an interesting thing where
It
they
really worked.
where they
I
didn't
was-
shrink them down, but they like 3D
I
printed.
like that. I like
Yeah.
because it gave that the excuse for Fry to go in there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
You
I,
know,
I didn't even think of that.
But even before that, when back to all these worms, what they're doing is that they also would make you as strong as Gumby and her abilities
Gumbercules.
combined.
tuberculosis.
that was, you know what's weird is
Hands down, I think out of any Zoidberg line period in
I
the
love that guy.
thing is Gumbercules. I love that guy.
that joke isn't that good, but I laugh every time. It's fucking credit to Billy West, who's already
Just
amazing and
goofy.
whatever. But like everybody's delivery of the lines in this episode, like that, for some reason, it's so funny coming
Billy
out of
West-
Zoidberg.
I mean, he's amazing regardless, but he does so well in this episode.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
you
just
know,
because he has to do
Fry's
so
lines.
much.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I-
even the professor had some moments where like just the way he said stuff was just.
Mhm.
But I
funnier than normal.
realized the closest thing to the closest thing to Gumbercules that we have is Stretch Armstrong. Do we not?
Oh
not a real
yeah, he is a
person.
Gumbercules.
He's very strong though.
Yeah,
and he
very
can
stretchy.
stretch.
yeah.
I'm into it.
I think he was just all girdle and like contouring.
Have you ever cut him open? There's sand in there.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say.
No,
there's-
there's sand in the later period Stretch Armstrongs. The old ones were like black tar heroin.
Ooh.
They were some viscous
eBay.
black goo that was toxic.
If
and-
smoked.
no, just in general. Like if you touched it, you'd have to go into an isolation tent.
ISO Cube.
Yeah.
Judge Dredd.
I grew up when toys were unsafe. Just so you know.
I didn't have toys.
No, you were in a box. It's okay.
Did anyone get a little turned on when Fry ripped his shirt off and he was all buff?
Still ripped?
Leela
I
did.
got a little sweaty. Maybe lost a breath or two.
That's exactly why I want those worms.
What did she say? Is like, don't look out. He looks like he's worked out.
It looks like he's balding with what could be muscles.
Yeah,
We're
so-
talking about Sal.
I feel like we're jumping around a little bit, but
You when he fucking throws Sal on the ground and he's
I
like,
won't
I've
soon
learned a
forget."
lesson about
ogling
oogling cans. I
cans.
won't soon forget. Just so many good Sal. Everything Sal said in this was just it was great. Everybody. It's just a fucking
so
solid
for,
episode.
Sal is a very aggressive person. I don't know if he seems to have a lot of pent up rage for no apparent reason.
He has nothing to lose. What is there to lose?
He's sexually frustrated.
We've already determined that he's probably a clone.
Okay. But
And he just does hard labor all the time.
Or he's harassing Leela because he doesn't even know that he's the other clone harassed her.
that's true. But I feel like
Oh, you're going somewhere
wait,
with this.
yeah,
I just
wait,
thought you were
okay.
just saying words.
so. No, so here's these are going to be a little bit circular. Number one, if Sal was a clone, wouldn't Fry and Leela recognize him as a clone because they see him everywhere? If there was enough of them, wouldn't you just be like, this fucking guy is everywhere? Or, oh, it's one of those clones, so then they wouldn't necessarily connect it. Number two, Leela being like, oh, let's avoid him and go hide in that crowd seems very unlike her.
Can I answer your first question before you?
Are you just going to say fuck you?
No, I'm gonna. I mean, my answer will definitely be a fuck you, but it's
Okay.
not. It's gonna be worded differently. You watch the show and other shows.
Yes.
Does a show follow characters every moment of their lives at all times?
They're
Do
supposed
you
to.
see everything that they say from the time they wake up to the time they go to sleep? Do you know
I do in my brain.
without
When I
how
close
do you-
my eyes,
I'm
it
sorry,
happens.
phrasing that wrong. How do you know they didn't talk about that at some point?
Well, because
Which is a
their,
way of saying who cares.
their behavior would sort of negate the fact that they had that
I would only.
conversation.
I agree with you. Only in Leela would definitely not cower like that.
Yeah.
She would absolutely hi-ya and kick him in the face.
Right.
Yeah, true.
But
I think she has a thing.
But I'm only
I'm-
agreeing with exactly what George is saying and not Pete. I just want to make that clear.
you know, growing up as someone who's working on a Simpsons tattoo sleeve, I
I saw that.
I am
Homer's face is backwards.
Who's doing that? Is it John?
Sean Jonas, yeah. At Voodoo Monkey Tattoos. He's
He's
great.
been
Former
a guest.
guest.
He's a guest.
Yes. As someone who loves The Simpsons, I'm so used to characters acting totally out of character simply to add a joke
Okay.
or a scene.
Which is what comedies do.
When I
Yeah,
when I
especially
watched The
cartoons.
Simpsons, it was
Pete
in the
does
pre
not
Armin
understand that
Tanzarian
concept
era
at all.
Even
I was-
pre-Armin Tanzarian, they do a lot of shit.
Yeah, a little bit, but that was
A
like
little
that was the
bit.
biggest fuck you retcon in the history
well, yeah,
of
that's
cartoons.
you know what?
Yeah, I have
The
a
best
problem.
That episode-
ending ever is just like, oh, let's pretend none of
That
this
ever
happened.
happened.
That
But
episode's
that's
fucking
lazy.
terrible.
That is trying to realizing you made a mistake and then trying to turn it into a joke. Like that's
Well, that episode's terrible, but it's really fucking funny.
no. The episode is hilarious,
but that was the beginning of the end because if you like
it was.
if you're someone like me who's listened to the audio commentary in all the episodes, they get to a point where they start laughing at how random the story gets, and I'm like, that's not a joke. That's just bad writing, and it gets frustrating, and that's why it slid.
Yeah.
And they continue to be rewarded 15 years after the fact.
You know what? I will defend the Boyhood episode though. My
Hey,
top 10.
Really? I'll have to check that out.
hang on. Nobody make a smell.
That I wrote that down too. I was actually going to bring that up.
I like that Zoidberg's
Finger alert 5.
Yeah, and that Zoidberg's one piece ever of like accurate medical knowledge came from a sinus commercial.
action.
Yeah, he's Zoidberg's such a lovable schmuck.
He's great. He used to be my favorite, but I think the professor's become my absolute favorite because that shot of him with his slippers with the gun just shooting everybody is so fucking funny to me. like just him like struggling to keep his slippers on by not lifting his feet, but still
Just
just
scooting
pulling-
around.
I like that because it wasn't out of character for him physically. It's not like everyone's running around like
Mhm.
doing action moves or whatever, shooting, and he's just like shuffle, shuffle, shuffle,
Yeah.
shoot.
How come
like
the
Amy
worms?
kind of like catapults in. like-
Yeah,
Why don't the worms notice them in the other parts of the body?
yeah. But, well, there's the tanks by his.
There's the
sphincter.
tank- yeah.
tanks, but like when they're coming in through the
Because they
ear and
weren't
the
doing
nose,
anything, and they were just.
Maybe
when
they're
they were
not
like
going
working on
by.
the brain.
Yeah, they're not
and
working on the ear or the heart. maybe
And
at that
what
point.
I think what screwed
they're
it
like the
over
Borg.
was
They're like the Borg. If you're not doing
Well,
anything to stop them yet, then they're.
if you
they don't
noticed
care.
after the fact, it's when Zoidberg goes up and scrapes off the cholesterol. Is that when they start chasing him? Like there's that scene, and
Yeah,
then
but is
later
that
then
well
they
because they come in through the no, it's not. They're in the heart, even though
yeah,
that's
it's right
where the
before
food
they
is
get to the
digested.
anus.
But still, I mean, those worms may have noticed that happening, and then because there was no like sign
Well, no,
of
there,
them,
there
they
was a
just started-
siren. There was a siren when they pass.
When they got in the
and then
stomach,
right before
basically.
right before the tanks come in, there's a siren that when they pass
Right.
a bar.
But all I'm saying is that maybe they knew that they were there when he was scraping the cholesterol off.
Oh God damn it! We missed
when they're in
whole-
the heart where the food is digested.
Yeah, the whole thing about Leela wanting to
We can
not
go back. You can
not,
go, if there's anything in your notes, anybody's notes wants to go back, and we had a little bit of the sort of B story, and there's just something very endearing about is being somebody that's not good at talking to girls, and
You can eat the fuck out of a toilet
and
sandwich.
about
I thought you were going to say a pussy.
about is about at the IQ level of Fry, watching him get better at speaking, but then explaining it by
Of course, he does love Chinese food.
by saying that that was a great Mike Huckabee joke. Thanks. Do you have any jokes about being invisible and showering in the girls' locker room too? There's a very specific making fun of Mike Huckabee's shitty comments.
I forgot that the axe you thing is
Oh,
a thing.
and
I
slipped
laughed
in there
so
it-
hard.
Like I almost missed it. It's just like because it's
There's
not
only
like
one.
she doesn't accent it. It's
Yeah.
not like let me
It's so
act.
casual.
Oh, exactly, perfect.
It's
yeah.
great.
They do that every
Yeah,
every
I think it
time.
was
Every
in the
once in a
last
while,
episode,
it's
too.
not like a constant
It-
thing. She says "ask" most of the time, but
no.
nah,
Mhm.
nah.
In,
More often than not, they use
in this
axe.
year's, it's X.
I would like to see Zoidberg riding a sperm.
I would like to put that to the test, Tom.
I love that.
Like a
You'll never
a
guess
whole
where I've been.
Yeah, a whole episode of just him.
Guess where I've
He said he
been?
comes in
Riding
saying
around.
"yippee ki which is great too.
It grossed me out.
It's a little gross, yeah. For all the things, and George, you brought it up earlier. This episode used to gross you out. Me too. It's one of those things where I've seen it enough times that like I've disassociated how gross the things that are
Mhm.
happening and are. It just doesn't feel like.
It also took me out of the episode because of the like size ratio. Just all got
That's not
all
the only
screwed
example
up.
of that, though. You're right.
know.
It's not, but it's for the comedy. It's for the joke.
It didn't gross me out as much
What-
this episode.
what
the
do you
ear,
mean?
the ear
As much as
canal
the
thing.
wormy stuff of
The
like
ear,
there's a
the worm stuff
parasite.
didn't gross me
What
out.
are you
but the
talking
ear
about?
The
The
ear
size
stuff with all the
ratio
wax
didn't
and the
make
finger,
sense.
like okay.
They go through the heart
Uh,
before
No, red blood
the
cell.
stomach or not?
Yes. Do they even go through the stomach?
Yes.
They go through the heart first.
Yeah, they go to the heart. I know that.
because they go through the
Because then they go
sinus
through the
cap.
sinus to the heart.
Right.
Because
But
that's how they get the
then-
red blood cells following them.
But then how do they get into the stomach?
I think there's just a cut, and then they're just already.
Yeah,
at a
and they
better
get to
place.
the something whatever.
Yeah, I think they cut to.
I
a
mean,
Leela
most of the
story.
words that the professor says, I don't think are actual medical words of any.
I was gonna
kind.
ask
I
about
was
that. I
wondering
thought-
Did
about
not
that.
look
I
them
could-
up.
The Spanglo-Ganglion or whatever he says, like that could go either way from you. No idea. Didn't look it up either.
Yeah, I feel like
Like-
that's just like a like an Achilles tendon type thing, where it's just like it's just really sensitive, and I'm okay with it.
Just some
it's,
kind
it's
of
the Achilles tendon of the
sphincter,
butthole.
Some
like-
kind of yeah. Just
Oh, that
something
that was one of my the
Yeah,
jokes
what
No,
was
I-
that
there's
sphincter
there's a splanchnic nerve.
is it a
So
ganglion though.
well, ganglion is like a cluster of nerves.
people say I'm gang.
One of my favorite lines in the whole episode is that lucky if he has any bones left.
Yeah, that was right. It was like, get ready for the biggest bowel movement. He'll be lucky if he has any bones left.
Yeah, because
I'm like, oh my god, that's so fucking funny.
you and
asked
I
him-
have taken poos like that where we didn't know if we had bones left.
yes.
Well, that's what I was gonna say.
I
Is so
have.
that
Thank you for sharing that with every.
referring back to my week-long episode with gas station egg sandwiches.
But I just like that you said it like Tom and I have watched each other poop, discussed it at
Well,
length.
you had the lover's toilet in your apartment,
And we had
Yeah.
to put our bones back in our bodies.
what happened after eating those sandwiches for a week was probably akin to what would happen if I ate
I thought
Hermes-
that's what you meant when you
Hermes
said
jerk
some
prunes.
bad.
Yeah.
I call
Was
it
it Nature's Drano?
Jamaican
Nature's
Drano. Jamaican Drano.
Was it Jamaican Drano?
I thought he said Nature's Drano.
Is it?
You're just being.
Did he say Jamaican Drano?
Yeah,
Like,
I don't think
you know
he
what? I didn't
did.
write it down. It could be either one.
They could have changed it.
Is this the first time we see Leah's apartment? I think it's the only
Yeah,
time.
It's definitely the first. I don't know if it's the only. It's definitely the first.
I haven't
time.
watched. I'm not too familiar with like later seasons, like the Comedy Central seasons.
That
but-
confused me though, because it's almost like she's never even referenced having an apartment before.
Yeah, it seems like she
Brian
lives
Bender
there.
did, and she had like all those underpants in the Planet Express ship
Yeah, but then she
because
was
they've
gonna
ransacked her stuff
Well,
before.
she was also going to go home on the last episode, or the honking, where she was going to go home
Honking.
and make her honking. Oh,
It is, and I
the
always
the
say
honkening is
Oh,
what's
yeah, I forgot
happening
about
to
that
our
episode.
country.
the last time on the honking, she said that she was going to go.
I didn't vote for
make-
that goose. You did.
She's going to make her
It
dinners
bites.
for the next month. So
That's true.
she has a home,
I mean, anywhere you
deep
lay your
freeze,
head is your
apparently.
home.
and whatever home she has is better than the orphanarium.
Do you think she got apartment 1I as a coincidence or on purpose?
You know what, Pete? I thought a lot about this. I think the writers of the show thought it would be hilarious if they made her apartment one eye.
And they didn't
I
make a
don't-
joke
I'm-
out of it. Is her chair just facing a blank wall, or was there a TV there? I couldn't
I'm
remember.
guessing there is a TV there.
No, there was a
I
TV.
mean-
yeah,
Okay,
specifically.
I thought it would be funnier if there
because
was
it
just a
looked
blank
like
wall.
something, and I didn't know what it was referencing. It kind of looked like the, like, I don't know. There was something in the Futurama infosphere that said it was referencing something. I didn't understand it.
Mhm.
It reminded me of was it Sony or RCA where like the guy sitting in front of the
Oh, like the
speaker or
Maxell
whatever,
commercial.
where it's just
Her
the
chair kind of reminded me of the crazy robot's head. I can't remember his name. The stabby one.
Oh, Roberto.
Roberto.
Yeah,
It
because
kinda
the
has two
speaker
balls
kind of.
on-
Yeah.
What part are you talking about?
When you see Leela's apartment, it's just the TV and the chair, and then four walls.
Oh,
Just it
that was
infiltrates
that
it.
was an iconic advertising image from the 80s that was advertising audio tapes.
Yeah.
That's I mean it wasn't
And then
speakers, it
they-
wasn't home audio, it was just like
It became
"Hey,
an
here's my
iconic
cassette."
Simpsons joke that was advertising video games,
Yeah.
cartridge video games.
they lead
Oh,
to think
The
that
real
back when
Like
everything
Bone
was
Storm?
better.
maybe
Bone
when
Storm.
she had people over, there was just that little chair there.
I
and
don't
they
think
both
Leela
to
ever
sit
had
in
people
that.
over, Tom. That's the point.
No, she has.
She's really a lonely
She
person.
yeah, she doesn't have anybody but the Planet Express crew.
She doesn't, and not even that.
She had
Yeah,
people.
Fry has apparently never been to her apartment.
Yet
before.
Fry's not good enough for her, which I it's always. I mean, not. Yeah, I don't know.
He's pretty dumb.
He is very dumb. I don't know. We'll get to that part later.
when
in
we
this
get to the
episode.
holophoner stuff. Yeah, because it sounds like
Well, the holophoner stuff happens right now. I mean,
okay, yeah,
first
that's where we're
time.
at. Yeah,
Well,
this-
before that, when they're
having
having
tea
the-
together, or
like,
coffee or whatever.
she's yeah,
Or
Oh,
actually,
yeah.
not coffee. It was narc. Did you
It's
Yeah, I
like
can't remember what it
Nakatina or
was.
It was
something.
yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
settle her
Nakatina.
stomach.
Is that a real thing?
I don't know
No
what that
idea.
is.
It came up. There was there was a hyperlink in the infosphere, and I didn't click on it because I just didn't care.
that was
enough.
Nagatina.
It was one of those things where I'm like, should I do that? One or the other two.
Yeah,
guys
it felt like
will.
a direct reference to something, but I have
Yeah,
no idea what
like
it was
because
referencing.
she said it. It was just. It was like you were supposed to hear her saying. I didn't know if it was. I didn't know if it was some kind of like without looking it up. I thought it was like a joke of that. It was some sort of like coffee nicotine
Yeah.
beverage or something where it was like.
Yeah, because he's like, I need something to settle my stomach. I'm like, like is it seems like even compounding onto the reference. where I'm like, because they're all fighting in his stomach at the time. And it was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
But I have no idea what it was. Like,
Yeah, I that was the thing. I didn't
if
know
only
if
we
it
had
was
a
something
series
real
of
or if it was.
Pepto-Bismol. That's what I would.
There's a
drink for
whole.
that.
I'm reading this stupid long ass blog entry about it. They claim that it's Narcotina, but it's not. I mean, it's just a thing. It's from the show. There's no.
so
analog.
maybe like narcotics, like coffee is just like another drug now. or
If that was
something.
did anybody write
That-
down the peanut butter line when he's like
Oh, it's like I feel like my mouth is full of peanut butter even when it isn't.
that was one of my favorite Fry moments of just like any over explaining something and just that
It's
way.
great.
It's just it's like the writers being able to write like that kind of cute line like that, and then Billy West just
He's so good, man.
just
like,
he makes every character he plays. There's something endearing and warm about every voice he
even
does.
Zap.
Well,
That's the whole thing. Yeah,
he
it-
creates a heart to Zap.
If
There's
it's
like,
something, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, Zap's not even in this
no, I know,
episode. But back to Fry, the part where
you could
he-
agree or disagree. You don't have to just like point out.
He's dismissing you, Horchie. You're dismissed.
No, I agree. But one of the best parts of this episode that we skipped over. Well, I mean, we sort of talked about it, but
The rain slickers.
no.
oh, what was the
disposable
heart
fun
flickers?
cameras?
Oh yeah,
The
fun
heart
cameras.
beating faster when they're in there or whatever.
mhm.
When he steps down into the puddle and then like holds Leela's hand to like step over
Yeah.
the puddle. It's adorable.
It was.
I love that.
Absolutely.
That was nice.
Okay.
A lot of the exchanges. No. I was about to agree with
Really?
you. I'm not gonna like dismiss you.
that
as
is so
quickly.
romantic.
No, there's a lot of little moments like that. When you're a fan of the show, it helps too. Like a fan of these characters and stuff. But that moment, and there's a bunch of that throughout here. I mean, when we get into the holophoner stuff later,
I'm gonna be handsome
okay,
and charming as Gumby and Hercules.
So that
as
Gumbercules
handsome
would
as
be a
Gumby and as charming as Hercules.
Gumbercules would be a fantastic Halloween costume. this year.
Also, if there isn't a band named Gumbercules yet, fucking get on
Fuck,
it.
both
Right.
of those.
Also,
like, I'm
gas
so
station
stealing
egg
both
sandwich.
of those.
is
And his
But
dick
band name
is
gas
huge.
station egg salad sandwich.
There's
It's
gotta be. If there
expandable.
isn't, fucking
That's
again.
such a
it's a
long
grower.
It's as big as
Yeah,
you
but it
need
sounds like
to
a
be.
grind.
It's a grower, not a
Yeah.
shower.
No, I'm definitely dressing up as Gumbercules for Christmas. I mean,
I almost spit
Right-
beer all over
Right
your stuff.
before I get arrested, I'm gonna dress up as Gumbercules.
Merry Christmas.
That was
and
the
go
one
to the mall.
Let
There was
me
the-
stretch my muscles around you.
that was
And
the
your
most.
friend, Gumbercules.
Were you a good little boy this year?
That was the most nonsensical, but kind of understandable, like just weird word association.
For
that I've
Valentine's Day,
ever-
I'm gonna dress like a child.
The holophoner, was that introduced way back when Leela was talking about her past and she had like followed an ex-boyfriend who was a holophoner player or something? Is that where this is originally?
Was it just referenced?
I can't remember if you're thinking ahead.
No, he's
that you
thinking behind.
remember,
There was
or
the
if you're thinking
future.
behind. But I think holophoner has been I
Not
think
in
it's
depth.
been
but
in depth, but it's been mentioned.
Okay.
Everything. I think this is the first time that you actually see what it is.
Okay.
I think that holophoner scene, like what Fry projects, is beautiful.
It totally is.
Like I mean, it's you watch
Maybe
it
if you're
now-
Chinese food.
if you're Chinese food. Oh,
if I'm a pussy.
God. I have
feel
so
like-
many problems with it.
I
that
feel like
I'm
it's
just gonna
exactly
just
what
ignore it.
everyone projected when they filled out their MySpace profile page.
I just
I
want to
hate
be
the
an,
holophoner.
I just want to
hate
be
it.
I just want to be an otter with my significant
And
other.
what cute animals that it's
was
so
an otter or is a moon? It
animals
was
that
a-
pair up and hold hands and
I
float
just
down the
thought,
river.
like,
That was
I think it's sweet. It's a little watered down now because it's what 15
Yeah,
years
yeah, yeah.
after it aired.
Is that what
Um,
girls see when John Mayer plays guitar?
They
no,
just
they
see
just
that-
see his cock.
I remembered it since the other day when I ran into you that I was like, yeah, I know I've seen you before. I definitely seen you at LVT. I don't know if I've seen you. You done any like the underdog shows or like the
Yeah.
probably there, but I do remember you making at least a couple of references to just like on the cuff nerdy stuff where
Geordie
it's like,
LaForge.
no, like definitely where it's like,
I've scaled back hardcore in the nerdy stuff.
but like yeah, I mean because you're supposed to or whatever,
Yeah,
but
it's hard to make Dalek references
Yeah.
to a crowd.
But they weren't like that, not those kind of deep cuts, but it was like enough where I'm like, oh, that guy likes most of the stuff that I like. Or it was
Yeah.
just,
This guy's dick was longer than Tom Baker's scarf.
And same color.
Horchie, Horchie, I hate to break this to
I'm
you.
sorry, that was really good. I don't know why I'm so amused by that. Pete, that was one of the...
That's why they called me the makeout champion.
That was one of my favorite things that you've ever said in front of me, ever.
You know what I'm realizing is if you can make something from like 70s BBC dirty, it's really what kills. That's
Have you ever seen the cameras? Shoot on VHS. What do you
Excuse me.
expect?
All right.
Oh,
Let's get Tom. Are you taking us back to the episode? Because if you're not, I'm going to. But go ahead if you have something
you know
important
what,
to
Double
say.
Soup Tuesday.
about-
To be honest, I just wanted to know when we're gonna start recording this podcast.
Well, actually, I wrote this down because this is towards the end of the episode. But this was a joke that I found really funny. Was sorry, I got nervous and started thinking about neck bolts.
That's one of my. I say that. That's one of those. You know when it's when you make a reference to something and you know nobody's gonna care and it's like you know how there's moments when you're like just too nerdy around people that aren't.
Yeah.
You say like, well, that's like if the Enterprise didn't put its shields up or something. You say something and it's like why did I do that? And then there's ones where you're like, I'm gonna keep saying this.
Well,
and
if
I don't
nothing
give a
else,
shit.
I think it was just really sweet. Like I think it was just like he's very like nervous. and
Leela's
he gets
sitting
scared.
right
It's
in
a-
front of him in that foxy lingerie.
It's
Yeah.
a good fry,
and she's ready to go.
She
And
was
he's
our-
still
but that's-
just-
I'm still seduced from before. She was
Yeah,
ready to
that's
go.
a great joke. But like, that is a very Fry thing to do. Is just completely ignore all of that.
I have wedding vows
Because it
written
was
for
important to
whoever
him.
I'm going to marry, and there's completely blank, but somewhere in there is that. I'm sorry, I got nervous. I'm thinking about neck
That's a
bolts.
great line.
it's and I love Frankenstein's monster. His face, and he's like angry, and then he gets like more excited, and then he gives up, and then he's like, "Ruh," and then pops.
It's real Phil Hartman-y.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh yeah. Fire bad.
But then Fry comes back with the bag of
massage oil that he used to give massages to Amy. That
See,
was a
that's-
good.
That's where I was coming from. Is like I understand that Fry says things that kind of fuck up what
Yeah.
he's doing. But Layla is already kind of like, you're not smart anymore. I don't know. I'm like, that's really shitty of
It
Layla.
was because the intention was still there, and she understood that.
Yeah.
And that's kind of.
And it's like she was only attracted to the fact that he was getting smarter.
yeah,
and I
like
get it.
stronger and etc. And
She was
She
in love
wants
with the
someone who's-
worms.
And I get it. Yeah, it almost seemed like she was more attracted to the worms. And I get like being attracted to someone who has potential, and Fry basically having none of that.
yeah.
But her just being like, ugh, to almost immediately.
Do you?
Just-
What
yeah.
was she like? Ugh, or was she horrified by the vision of the holophoner?
No, she definitely was. She was confused, but I don't think she was horrified.
Yeah, I think it was everything. I think it was him losing the stuff that she, had liked about him.
The only
since
reason
then.
she liked him was because of the worms.
Yeah.
She wouldn't have liked. I mean, I think part of it was he was able to articulate how he was feeling, but he was able to articulate it in a way that she wanted him to articulate it in.
He was in an apex physical and mental state, but I would argue that Leela's pretty lonely and has some affection for him because, like, going back to last year's Valentine's episode, like when he ditched her for Amy and stuff, like she did get kind of bummed out. Like I think she likes him on some level. So if he could,
Yeah.
And that plays out more as the series goes on. But yeah,
She definitely cares for him.
if he could restrain his ultimate slobbiness and just say stuff like "I love you," I don't think she'd be like completely disgusted. I think it was just this, there's a stark contrast all of a sudden that was maybe jarring.
I could see that. Like there's a juxtaposition to what she expected and what she got
Yeah.
in that moment. at
Like, I
least.
mean,
Yeah,
it was like
yeah.
that. It was like a quick turnaround, and she
which
was,
I can see, but it
she
still
was
doesn't
still
mean
ready to go. If he had just put the stupid holophoner down,
still
she
doesn't
would have
make
thrown
her-
one at him.
any less shitty.
Leela, like, she's so like dismissive of Fry after he gets rid of the worms and everything like that. Like she has other options or anything like that.
Zap.
Well, no, but Fry is the most sincere and nicest person to her.
No, he's
very
pretty,
sincere to her.
Yep.
Most
I don't think
of
he's
the
ever
time.
unsincere. I think he's very stupid and
bumbling,
misguided.
yeah.
But I don't think he's ever not sincere.
And there's
No,
times
he's
where
been
he
very
will
rude, and
he will be rude because he will. It's like something she deserves.
or
he's insubordinate.
or he's rude because
Well,
he's suggested by somebody else,
he
like
is-
Bender.
He's
Mhm.
also and he's also like separating Leela from being the pilot. To
Yeah,
Leela
he
being
actually, in a
woman.
sense, like that is more because he separates her as a person and as a captain or a boss. I think that's more admirable, if anything.
I will say I can definitely see both sides to, him being such an oaf that like she's not into him, and then on the other side, and being like a doofy guy that has been in that situation, and him being super sincere, but like maybe not at her level on a lot of things.
Clouseau-esque.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know.
I can understand both sides. I'm not. Yeah, I would say like I agree with both. Well, with all three.
And
of
we
you,
brought
on
this
your-
up in passing, but we do send all of our guests home with baggies of massage oil.
I want
Unless
nothing
you want
more.
to stick around and light some candles and we could use it. And you don't have to take it home. I mean,
I mean,
I've got a holophoner upstairs.
I got nothing else to do. I'm a little cold if you guys want to warm me up. So
It's canola oil.
it's
It's canola oil. I'm
it's-
sorry.
So
It's as
that's
slippery as
basically
anything
what I
else.
rub myself in at
High
work.
smoke point.
I want to go back to one thing real quick. We kind of like mentioned a couple of jokes when Fry gets into goes sends his little miniature self inside himself, and you see the the statue. He comes up and he talks to the it's Lord Mayor of Cologne,
Yeah, it's the mayor of
Yeah.
Cologne. Yeah,
and he's like, you mean
he's
Cole?
the
and
known
the known universe. He's
I
like,
like that he's
who
the
wants to
third
know?
generation.
Oh, that's so good. Like just the because
It's only been like a day.
yeah, microscopic organisms or just even like flies and insects and stuff
Well,
that'll
like,
last for a couple weeks or
when
whatever.
when the sword fight actually happened, in my mind, I'm like, he's gonna die halfway through this fight. Like, there's no
Oh,
way.
yeah, as far
Like,
as
you have
like-
a old age.
Unless the shrink, no, because then he's working through a robot in real space. I was
No,
gonna say if
he's
the shrink
talking about the
made
the worm.
mayor.
you were saying
yeah.
that the mayor
Yeah.
would die, but it's because of the time that goes by.
Yeah.
Like he would age. I was gonna say something about shrinking down and time slowing down, but that wouldn't even make sense
Mm.
because it's not slow down for Fry
'Cause it
because
doesn't
he's
slow. It
using a
barely slows down for Leela when she says "can do."
yeah. Or just I mean
I just like he puts the little guy in his pants.
yeah, he
in
just
the
pulls
butt.
open the back of his pants and drops it in. So like,
Like,
he has to
he
like
had to
fight his way
climb
through.
up.
Yeah.
And Leela just shooting all of the people through a straw.
It, like
Just
into the
with
cup.
direct accuracy. Well, she also does it with the ship into his ear.
Oh yeah.
And
It's
that's a lot of
When she did it
real
with
good
herself,
accuracy.
she did it from a window from like across the street
Yeah.
into his
into the
With her notoriously bad depth perception too.
yeah.
She's
but,
a really good pilot.
but a really good aim at
maybe she
everything.
was shooting at his ear and into the.
Yeah, that's good point. So when he walks in and the guard is like, who wants to know? And he's like, he points up and does the same pose that his statue. This is the known universe.
That's David Herman, right?
The mayor. Yes. That's what I wanted to bring up. I went down this rabbit hole. When the mayor, Lord Mayor of Cologne, spoke, I was like, "That's an homage." First of all, yes, it's David Herman. Like that's an homage to a classic voice, cartoon voice. And I was trying to think of. Pete might be a little more familiar with this.
See, I was thinking it was Alan Tudyk. I didn't.
It
Oh,
is.
it
It's
is.
Alan. Well, here's the thing. There's a lot of comparisons. It is all right. Alan Tudyk. Well, because this is way after. Alan Tudyk does what's that,
Wreck-It
Wreck-It
Ralph.
He does that King or whatever.
Yeah.
That's way years
Yeah.
later. Alan Tudyk is doing okay. So I was trying to figure out. I'm like, where does that voice come from? It's Ed Wynn, who was the guy that did. He was a film actor and TV actor, and then also he did the Mad Hatter on
Mhm.
the original Disney Alice in Wonderland.
Isn't
The
that-
hoo-hoo-hoo, guy.
Herman Munster, or was that? No, that was
No,
Fred
no.
Gwynn.
No, so if you saw a picture, you'd be like, I know that goofy looking guy or whatever. So he did that, and then I'm like, that voice is so familiar, but I feel like there was a lot more like closer to my childhood, like Hanna-Barbera, voice or whatever. It was Wally Gator. Was it? You know how a lot of old cartoons have that. Why does Yogi Bear sound like Ed Norton? Like
Wally Gator is a Hanna-Barbera cartoon, right?
yeah, he was the
I can't think of his theme song.
I just watched it
I
today.
remember
and I
he
can't
was
it
like
either.
surfing on things.
Yeah. But so anyways,
Same thing with Gorilla. Right? Gorilla.
You guys are fucking old.
we are.
I have no idea.
It's anyway. So the point I was trying to make was I think David Herman was doing an homage to like that voice that
There
Ed
was
used to
definitely
do,
like
and then,
a some sort of there was an intent to that
yeah,
voice.
I think it was he was doing a little bit of, I mean, I'm not saying that like it might not even been intentional. I'm not saying that he was like, I'm gonna do, here's a voice I have, but I'm sure he's like, this is kind
Well,
of,
I mean, in the same way, like Mo is just Al Pacino, a bad Al
that's
Pacino.
exactly,
reference,
yeah, like that's like I was saying, there's a bunch of and then The Simpsons, and a bunch of the more in our lifetime cartoons or whatever have done a lot where it's
yeah.
like,
I mean, you
well,
listen to a
it
lot
make-
of voice actors. They're just like, yeah, we're just doing a bad version of this guy.
yeah,
or,
you're
you know.
doing this
Hey,
classic
Tom.
actor or that one or whatever.
Wake up.
No, I'm thinking.
Were you thinking about Wally Gator?
I'm thinking.
Yeah, I
about
was
me.
thinking about Wally Gator actually. I was trying to get the theme song in my head, and then
There was a
Pete
little
messed it
Homer
up.
Simpson bubble above your head. It was like Wally Gator and one of the old timey duck cartoons, like doing a.
I think the sweetest thing out of this whole episode is the little button at the end where Fry starts learning holophone. Or
It's-
Oh my
it's
god!
really cute,
Come
but
on, how is that not?
It's like I said. I mean, I mixed this up with the Devil's Hands episode, and that button at the end is far
That's
more.
really
Like,
Yeah.
I was like, because I got really excited when I saw the holophone. I'm like, oh, this is this episode,
Mm.
and then I forgot, and I'm like, oh yeah, it was pretty good. And my girlfriend's like, why did you like that? I'm like,
Why did you like the last 22 minutes? It was absolute garbage.
well, that was the thing is I didn't realize how fast this episode moved by. Like, it is a much quicker episode than most that I can remember.
It is pretty quickly paced. It's dense.
And there's fucking like
There's a lot in
5
it.
acts too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
this.
It's very
It's like-
cinematic. It feels like a
it's-
tiny movie.
yeah.
Like it's like I said, because
Everything-
there isn't like a B story. It's a thing of like there's another thing going on that's sort of the B story, and then it swirls into the A story, and then they.
Well, that's why I was surprised when I looked up because I'm like, Eric Kaplan sounds like a name I've heard before outside of Futurama.
Mhm.
He's only written one episode of The Simpsons, which was the Carl Norway episode in season 24 with
The-
Sigur Rós, which is like an okay episode. Yeah, it's
That's
whatever.
a decade and a half after I
Yeah, I
stopped
mean,
watching.
Yeah,
The
I mean
Simpsons.
it's not like essential by any means. It's a fine episode. It's whatever. And he co-created Drinky Crow.
Oh, I love
yeah,
that
yeah.
show.
Yeah.
Other than that, like I've never
did
seen
not know
anything
that he
else he
did that.
did.
He- there's a sitcom or a dramedy show that he did.
Oh, he
But I-
did Alan Gregory as well. That weird show with Jonah Hill on Fox that lasted like 4 episodes.
I kind of remember that happening. I don't. There was something.
Let's
it was
never
like,
speak of it again.
Just running through a couple of things that and everybody else, feel free to put, and then jump into this. One of my favorite, the Mayor of Cologne line was the when he's like, I thought I was in love once, but then I realized that our species mates through a cloud of spores. That was good. Kind of reminds me of the mermaid episode when Fry finds out that
yeah.
they can't
He
have
wishes
sex.
She was the other kind of mermaid.
the rooms in the elevator or the floors in the elevator, brain, lungs, etc. Ballroom.
ballroom.
Yeah.
Good. And apparently Zoidberg went there. And that's
See,
where
I
he
didn't
came
even
back
get
with
that
it.
until you said that out loud.
I didn't think about the two being connected until
Yeah.
like,
I
it's
was
like,
just
oh,
wondering
that's
if the
where-
And
ballroom
I was like, why wouldn't you just go to the
separate.
ballroom?
Yeah.
Like,
I wonder if the ballroom was actually separate from the scrotum.
I mean, he's pretty close, but I mean, it is like he
I
is
feel
pretty
like
close
the-
to the scrotum, so I guess it was the next level.
Like they could have built a ballroom inside.
I also want to see
his,
that elevator. I want to see how that's shaped.
tubular.
Radical.
The mayor's whole speech at the end. They're like, next time you eat some or some
The
have some
special
fat food
sauce.
with the special. What do you think makes the special sauce so special? And then his little yo, and then it's like, I don't remember. Does he do like a mic drop or like he does a little?
No,
point
he just
to
points
the
to
side
himself
Thing.
and
Yeah,
he's like, "Yo."
but he does a little like point to the side thing, and then all his
I was like, "We're out."
like
Yeah.
like we're out kind of yeah that was good.
Is
I think about that every time I eat a fast food burger, and I love the taste of it.
Oh, no.
One of the best fry lines.
And then I lift up my shirt to see if I get 6-pack abs because of the
You're like, did it
work?
work?
I
So
have
you're
Burger
just-
King and
I
now
shove a pole through me to see if it gets cut
Just
out.
pounding egg-cell tins. Just like,
That's
why?
how- So that's how before
Don't
and
do
after
that.
pictures start.
Don't
Wait, I
do
missed it. What was
that.
it? Would you say that's how what?
Before and after pictures start.
Exactly.
I
Like,
ate
that's-
one McDonald's burger and now I'm ripped.
The last episode we recorded, or 2 episodes ago, or whatever, or maybe it was the last one that came out. There's a line in an early episode where Bender's steering with the Planet Express with his ass, and
Yeah.
Fry's like, "That's the greatest thing I've ever seen." And like exactly along with that, and my identifying with Fry, and like when you're just like certain base level things just entertain you, and you just revel in that, is when the vase falls over, and he's like, "Did you see that? It went," and like like those moments make Fry. I think
An
it
idiot?
generally endearing, and then like just especially endearing to me of just looking
Well,
at
that's
the
that's
character.
the one thing I've loved about this show is how true, at least to Fry, maybe not to everybody, but it really stays true to his
They
character.
really make a point of it. Like,
Yeah.
Thanks for
that's what
coming
I'm
on
saying. I
the.
don't want to rush the ending of
Thanks for coming on the show, George.
Thank you for having
Right,
me.
so-
I appreciate it.
it. Explain your
a
podcast,
shot?
Second Shot.
Yeah, I have
everybody
I have a podcast on iTunes and all that good stuff. It's called Second Shot. It's me and my friend Devin Newsom, and we go.
That was the other thing I remembered. I've seen him too. I want to say at the Underdog. and
Yeah,
he was funny.
he's another comic in town. He's very, very funny.
Will you
Yeah,
let
he's
the
a-
man
he was-
speak?
God damn it, Rick.
You need to learn to let me speak. Okay. Yes.
The podcast,
Typical white male.
the comedy is just a waterfall rushing down.
Please stop.
Second shot, you and Devin Newsom.
The restrooms, what, the 37th door on the left?
Yeah. Nope.
No.
Nope.
Try not to
Nope.
get shot
Did
on the way
did
there.
You find the
Did you f-
bathroom?
did you f- yeah. Yeah, no, we it's he and I, we find someone who likes something that we hate or hates something that we love.
Like a movie or a
movie,
band
book,
or whatever.
Music, whatever.
Mhm.
And we go back and we give it a second shot and we just talk about it, and the dynamic can go any way.
Can
So,
it be
like-
like a genre? Like I hate horror
Yeah.
movies. Okay.
Oh
It's
yeah,
really.
really.
just-
If you hate horror movies, then fuck, I have a lot to say.
All right.
But I will suggest a movie, a specific movie.
What if-
Troll
what
You
if
just
you're-
have to do some homework.
What if you're just afraid of them?
Well,
Tom-
then that's your own problem. You're going to still have to watch it if you agree to do the podcast.
Have you ever like gone back and watched something and changed your opinion on how you felt about it?
We just started it, but the second episode that's up, we did Coldplay, and I did not. I couldn't care less about Coldplay, but we did. I kind of came around on the album for the most part. I'm not like a Coldplay fan.
It
On
didn't
that
make you
episode,
actively hate them.
It kind of sounded like you did like an intro and then you stopped and listened to like
Yeah,
an
we-
album. And
Each
then came
episode
back.
we try to do an intro before and after.
Oh, I like
you
that.
know,
Do you ever
but-
fake it?
no, I mean it's. We've only done.
Oh,
so
that was a
far-
really good album.
Yeah, no, I mean I'll try to be civil with certain people, depending on that person. Like I feel like I'm gonna have my roommate on soon, and she's gonna try and convince me to like the civil life, the simple life.
The Paris
The
Hilton
Paris
TV
Hilton,
show.
Nicole
Oh,
Richie show, because she's obsessed with them, and I've known her for 15
Does
years.
she like it?
So
I don't want to use the word ironically. 'Cause
No.
I'm sick of that word. But
no,
I mean,
she is a walking enigma. I don't
Yeah.
understand her at all because she loves Che Guevara and Paris Hilton. Those are her two favorite things in the world, unironically.
But you know what? Liking both of those things makes
Did
the
she
most
grow up in the
sense right now
suburbs and then
than
attend a
ever.
liberal arts college?
She did actually.
Nailed it.
Her parents also own a hotel.
She has an
chain
environmental
in the
studies
world.
degree and works at a restaurant. So
So people,
And her dad is Lionel Richie.
people can find your podcast. I listen to it on iTunes. If you
yeah, it's
just
on
look up Second
Google
Shot.
and it's on SoundCloud and all that good stuff. Pretty much anywhere you can get, podcasts. As far as I know, I've submitted it to, and it's there. It's still pretty new. So I'm kind of
The third one just came out while we're
Yeah.
recording this. So by the time, are you doing like one a week or? Like
I put
Yeah,
a
we're
quarter
doing
in a gumball machine the other day, and I got a podcast out of it.
Which, by
just-
the way, I love that the little eggs came out of the
Yeah.
as
the
like the
3D
old
printer
prizes from like the old prize. Yeah, the
For the
Yeah.
the little drone things.
I know what
Yeah.
you're talking about.
They still do that. Have you used?
yeah.
those?
Remember when
Every
when we
time
were
I go to a
collecting-
store with my daughter, she tries to get one of those things out of it. Like, no fucking way.
Now I like how they invented ways to get more quarters, where it's like there's extra.
You
like,
can stick
slots or
4
whatever.
quarters in
Yeah.
here all at once to get 4 temporary tattoos.
Save your time and by
Exactly.
wasting it.
Do you have a
Gold
website or
toilet
an
thing or
email or
something.
anything for your podcast, or is there another way that
for-
people can find you on the internet?
For the podcast, it's just a Facebook. It's a second shot. I have a few other things. Like I every month at May Halls, I show a monthly movie double feature in the vein of like drive-in movies. So
And
I show
then,
like
and
old-
then Bowl's a perfect game.
yes.
How long have you been doing that?
Since August. So this will be the 6th one.
wait.
this-
So you show like
like-
a double feature, like a
Yeah, and I'll show like old cartoons and ads and stuff like I
Ah.
put together.
Bosco.
Yeah.
So this Friday, I don't know when this is going up, but the Friday was it 19th or no, the 22nd.
Is there a name for like that night?
Yeah,
like
it's
if
called
people
the
wanna-
it's called the Indoor Drive-In. That's what
Okay,
I
all
call it.
right. So if you look up indoor drive-in on
Yeah.
like Facebook or something, or
So this month it's Clueless and Harold and Maude, and next month for the 30th anniversary of Evil Dead 2, it's going to be Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness.
Oh, nice.
And then for I think it's the 21st of April, we're doing John Waters' birthday party in conjunction with the birthday party that's happening at May Halls. And I'm probably going to show. I'm not entirely sure on it, but it's going to be Pink Flamingos and probably Serial Mountain.
Have people been coming to check it out to see the movies?
Yeah,
and-
we've had some pretty decent turnouts. I would like more.
Where
but,
do you
know.
do it? Do you do it in like where they have the bands up on the first floor?
No, it's in the apartment, so it's more small.
Oh,
It almost
okay,
seems like
cool.
you're just having some friends over. You can like bring chairs and
Must be a
you know,
bitch to
whatever.
get
If
the
I
cars
bring
in
a-
there.
It's
Drive up
terrible.
a Power Wheels.
A
Since
pow,
it's a
pow, pow,
drive-in
we- yeah.
thing, I could
I-
just sit in there and watch it.
If you come and don't bring a Power Wheels, I'm kicking you out.
I mean, you know what? It's a totally missed opportunity too, because they have the garage doors in the main.
I should get like
showroom.
a race car bed.
You could probably fit like 6
sleep
to
in a big
10
bed with my wife.
cars in that big showroom, and they have garage doors that open onto Madison Avenue. Like,
I would love to do it in the main room, but we don't. It would just seem weird in there.
not
right
if
now.
it
if
would
we
seem,
had cars,
It seemed fucking great if you had cars in it.
just 2 limos.
Which would, with sunroofs though, so you could poke your head out the top and actually
like the
see it.
Flintstones.
Or the limos with the hot tubs in the back.
yes, a hot tub and
fuck.
Harold and Maude.
Oh shit!
You
See,
ever-
people need to hire me for
You
ideas.
ever wanted to watch a teenager kill himself in a
Eggs-
hot tub?
Egg salad pizza, hot tub limousine, indoor drive-in.
We came up with some good stuff today.
I know.
I think if nothing else, my exploded kidneys was worth it.
I'm gonna be filing patent applications all night long.
And
are
then
you-
I'm gonna take them like Thomas Edison.
Are you on Twitter or any other things like that?
I'm on Twitter. I don't really use it that much, but what's my handle? It's at George Dunham, DUNNHAM,
Ah,
because I was 17, thought that was hilarious.
well,
um,
who doesn't like racist puppets?
Everybody. Wait, no, my stepdad loves them.
Yeah,
Um,
he's in the majority apparently.
Yeah. My Instagram is Makeout Champion,
Yes.
or is it Makeout Champ? I don't know. I don't pay attention to these things. And then just find me on Facebook. That's where I bug everybody. It's just George Dunne, DUNNE.
Beautiful. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for that was a lot of good discussion.
Mm-hmm.
We went into a lot of weird places. It was good.
I'm still
It
waiting to
depends on what your
decide
definition of
how
good
we're
is,
gonna
but-
start this podcast. it's
Just-
all getting cut
Just
out.
cut out a random 70 minutes and it'll still be regular.
I was gonna say, can we just say that we recorded for an hour and 47 minutes and just see how short it gets cut down to?
We can be found at I'm going to change it up, Tom. Slurmcast.com.
Yep.
You can email us at slurmcastpod@gmail.com. We are on Twitter at slurmcastpod, on Instagram at slurmcastpod. We're on Facebook at slurmcast. We have a phone number that you can text
Yes.
or call us at,
Tell us what you're wearing at 216-438-1077.
especially if it's a Foxy Nighty like Leela has on.
And I'm
And
speaking.
stop calling and pretending to be my dad's ghost. Leave me alone.
Also,
but
Wait,
if
your
you're
dad has a
calling from the-
ghost?
more phone calls from the past would be appreciated.
and legitimately, John Calman, call me and tell me what you're wearing all the time.
I think
I've
it's,
called 3 times and
I
none of
think-
you answered.
he could just
None of us answer
You
it.
can't answer. You got to leave a message.
I,
They
got- I
might
called
sh-
3 times and said I'm here.
They might. I'm gonna put that on. I'm gonna put that at the beginning of this podcast.
Tom's been picking up his home PC and holding it up to his head like, hello?
To be honest, no one like it just shows up, and then we get the best is when it's voicemails, and then like sends a text. But if you don't speak well enough, like it just messes it
Yeah,
up.
it gets real interesting.
They might play on episodes.
Also, if you're so inclined, review us on iTunes. That's a fun thing you can do. You do it right from your phone. Just give us some stars. Write about how much you like or dislike us.
And if you haven't done that yet, the next time you listen to the podcast, it might blow up.
As far as we can tell, there's at least
That wasn't funny.
double.
Where they were banging on the
It sounded
door,
like
like
you said people
knocking?
were banging in the
Or
bathroom.
They were
fucking-
banging on the
You-
bathroom.
They were banging on the door, bang, bang, bang. And Tom was like, I can't hear you. And they were like, bang, bang.
Was it the bathroom you showed us pictures of before?
No, that was a different one.
Okay.
Roof.
God, Chrysler, it's as big as a whale and about to set
No, we have to pay for this. We have to pay for that.